All right, good morning. We're on the record. Good morning, everyone. As chairperson of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with DC Official Code Section 25764 of the Open Meetings Act, I am welcoming you to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. Today is December 9th, 2020. This meeting has been conducted pursuant to guidance made available by the District of Columbia's Office of Open Government regarding electronic meetings held by public bodies during the public health emergency. Pursuant to this guidance, notice of today's meeting was provided 48 hours in advance of the meeting on ABRA's website and on the district's central meeting calendar. The notice includes the time, date, agenda, and call-in or log-in information for public participation. This electronic meeting is being hosted by a WebEx account provided by the District of Columbia government. Please address any questions or complaints to the OOG at opengovoffice@dc.gov. My name is Donovan Anderson. I'm chairman of the board. I would like to introduce the other members of the board of the ABC board who are also participating electronically pursuant to Mayor's Order 2020-054. Please respond when I announce your name. Mr. James Short.
Mr. Short, present.
Mr. Bobby Cato.
Bobby Cato, present.
Miss Rafi Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, present.
Miss Jenny Hansen.
Jenny Hansen, present.
Mr. Ed Grandis.
Ed Grandis, present.
The board has 6 members in attendance for the conduct of business today, and that constitutes a quorum. Before we get underway with today's hearing calendar, I need to make a few instructions very clear so that the conduct of these hearings is understood by everyone. I believe there are about 10 cases on our calendar, on this morning's calendar. Once your case is called, I will take a moment for our IT specialist to elevate the rights for each party to enable their camera and microphone. Then and only then will you have the ability to engage your equipment. If your case has not been heard, you will remain mute and your camera will be disabled. At the conclusion of each case, the parties will have the option to leave. If the party chooses to stay, all cameras and microphone for the concluded case will be disabled. Should you have any questions or require technical assistance during the hearing, please submit them using the question and answer feature or email simone.andrews2@dc.gov. All right, our first order of business today is case number 19 CMP 00107. Nile Ethiopian Restaurant and Nile Market, license number 60432. This hearing is canceled. The parties entered into an offer in compromise, Seaboard Order number 2020-093. The next case in our calendar is case number 19 CC 00137, Sane Wine and Spirits, license number 107464. I will now ask Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the parties in this case? I believe the rights of the government, and I believe it's the rights of the parties in this case. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I'm Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Good morning, Mr. Adams. Can you please spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Walter, W-A-L-T-E-R, and Adams, A-D-A-M-S.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. I see Mr. Mengashi. Can you, if you have a camera, please turn your camera on, and if not, can you please unmute your microphone, please? Do you have a camera, sir?
Hello. I do, but I'm not sure if it's working. But my name is Salamwait Mangasha.
I'm sorry, I apologize, ma'am. So can you please spell your name for the record and please identify what the name of, what's your relationship to the establishment?
My name is Selamawit, Selamawit. Last name Mengesha. I am the owner for Saint Wine and Spirits.
So can you please pronounce your name for me, ma'am, so just to help me moving forward?
Sure. Selamawit Mengesha.
Mendasha. Good morning, Miss Mendasha.
Good
All right.
morning.
Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
There is a preliminary matter, Mr. Chairman. The parties have discussed this case and we're able to propose an offer and compromise to the board.
And what is that, please?
Yes, the offer and compromise in this case, there are two charges for this matter involving sale to a minor violation. The proposal is that for charge 1, that the establishment be issued a warning, and that for charge 2, that the charge 2 be dismissed. And that is the complete offer and compromise.
All right. Just a question. I don't remember the facts of this case. Can you I know it's a sale to minor violation. Is this the establishment's first? Can you just factually explain to the board factually what happened in this case, please?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is a case involving an underage minor operation with the use to cover minors. This is, and of course, in this case, we're alleging that the establishment sold it to the undercover minor. In this case, this would be the establishment's first violation of this kind. They had not had a prior warning for sales to minors. So under the circumstances of this case, we believe that the establishment is eligible to receive a warning for the first circumstance.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Are there any questions by any board members for Mr. Adams? All right, Miss Mengesha.
Yes, Mengesha.
It's my understanding that there is an offer in compromise, and the offer in compromise is that for charge 1, there is a warning, and that charge 2 will be dismissed. Is this your understanding of the offer in compromise, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Are you aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to a hearing?
Yes.
Are you also aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to appeal this matter?
Yes.
Okay, with that said, I make a motion that the offer in compromise for charge 1 of a warning be accepted and that charge 2 will be dismissed. So I make a motion that the offer in compromise be accepted. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short, I second the motion. I will now take a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Ed Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter therefore passes 6-0-0. Thank you, Ms. Mengesha, and thank you, Mr. Adams, for coming to a solution to this issue. And thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right. The next case, let me give her. The next case on our calendar is case number 19CC 00155, Sportsman Wine and Liquors, license number 70310. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee in this case, please?
Mr. Moody, your rights have been elevated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Moody, can you please, either if you have a camera, enable your camera, and I see that you have now opened your microphone. And Mr. Adams, can you please state your name for the record, please?
Good morning,
This is-
everybody. I just want to say first.
No, this is for Mr. Adams.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Good morning, Mr. Adams. Mr. Moody, can you please state your name for the record and also spell your name and your relationship to the establishment, please?
Sure. My name is Arun Modi, ARUN MODY. I am the president of the company, Sportsman's Wine and Liquor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
There are no preliminary matters at this time, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you very much. This matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined. We will advise the parties of the date. It will probably be some part in, at a date to be determined in January. We'll have a show cause hearing in this case, and so we will advise the licensee and the government of the date. All right. If there are no other, if there are no further action, thank you very much for your presentation and for your participation in this hearing today, and have a great day.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, the next case on our calendar is case number 19-251-00158, St. Eves, license number 99876. It's my understanding that the licensee will not appear today, but if the licensee is on the line, can you please identify yourself so therefore you can be recognized? All right, since no one has identified as a licensee, let's have Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
It's my understanding that the licensee was personally served on November 30th, 2020, and I believe that the licensee had informed the agencies that he had a prior commitment, so they would not be here today. So this matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined in January. And the ABC board or the agency will inform both the licensee and the government of the date. Thank you very much. All right, the next case on our calendar is case number 19 CIT 00674, Pinango Gelato and Cafe, license number 105197. This hearing is canceled due to a dismissal of the case by the government on December 8th, 2020. See board order number 2020-1014. The next case on our calendar is case number 19 CMP 00177, DC Shenanigans, license number 88119. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee?
Mr. Chair, the licensee is not on the line.
All right, thank you. Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Then this matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined in January. Thank you for your participation, Mr. Adams. All right. The next case on our calendar, next case on our calendar is case number 19 CIT 00697, Shanghai Lounge, license number 87348. It's my understanding also that the licensee will not, based on a schedule in conflict, will not be available today. So Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
All right. Then this matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined in January. All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 19 CMP 00087. Stoney's, license number 75613. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee in this case, please?
Ms. Risa, your line has been unmuted. You're now a panelist. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Adams, can you please state your name for the record, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Ms. Hiraro, can you please state and spell your name for the record and your relationship to the licensee, please?
My name is Risa Hirao, Hirao. I represent Stoney's, the licensee.
All right, thank you. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there is a preliminary matter in this case. The parties have discussed the charges and have reached a proposed settlement and are able to propose an offer and compromise to the board.
And what is the offer and compromise, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there are 4 charges in this case. And what we are proposing is that the establishment pay a fine in the total amount of $1,500 to be paid in the period of 90 days. There are 4 charges. For charge 1, which is allowing a patron to leave the establishment with an alcoholic beverage in an open container. This is the first violation for establishment, and it's a secondary violation. So the recommendation is a fine in the amount of $250. For charge 2, an increase in the occupancy without board approval, which is a primary tier violation, the first primary tier violation for the establishment. We are recommending a fine for $1,000. For charge 3, providing a backup drink, which I believe that provision has been stricken from the DC Code. We are recommending dismissal of that charge. And for violation of settlement agreement, which is again a first-time violation first-time secondary tier violation for the establishment, we are recommending a fine in the amount of $250. So that would total the $1,500.
And you're saying it's payable within 90 days?
Yes, we believe it's payable in 90 days. If the establishment fails to pay within the 90-day period, the establishment is aware that the license will be suspended until the time that it has paid the fine.
Thank you. Ms. Herrera, it's my understanding there's an offer in compromise, and the offer in compromise is that for charge 1, there is a fine of $250. Charge 2, a fine of $1,000. Charge 3 will be dismissed. Charge 4, a fine of $250 for a total fine of $1,500 payable within 90 days. If the fine is not payable within 90 days, the license will be suspended until the fine has been paid. Is this your and your client's understanding of the offer in compromise?
Yes, it is.
And is your client aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that they're giving up their right to a hearing?
Yes, Stoney's is aware.
And is your client also aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that they're giving up their right to appeal this matter?
Yes, my client is aware.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions by the board members?
I do not have any questions.
No. All right, then now I was asking the board members if they
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
Thank you. All right. Well, I think since Ms. Herrera has spoken for the board members, so I assume there are no questions by the
My apologies.
I then make a motion that the offer in compromise be accepted. That for charge 1, there is a fine of $250. For charge 2, there's a fine of $1,000. That charge 3 will be dismissed. That for charge 4, there is a fine of $250 for a total fine of $1,500 payable within 90 days. If the fine is not payable within 90 days, the license will be suspended until the fine has been paid. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis will second.
Mr. Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short,
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 6-0. Thank you, Ms. Harrar, and thank you, Mr. Adams, for settling this matter. And if there's no further question, have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, board members.
All right, then. Bye-bye. All right. All right, the next case in our calendar is case number 20 CMP 00032, Roofers Union Jug and Table, license number 93592. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee in this case, please?
Mr. Large, you are a panelist. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Good morning, Mr. Adams. Mr. Large, can you please identify yourself for the record and your relationship to the establishment? Can you also spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, Curtis Large, Curtis, last name Large, and I'm a partner. I'm a managing member of Roofers Union.
All right, thank you, Mr. Large. All right, Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chairman. The parties have discussed this matter and have reached a settlement and would like to propose an offer and compromise to the board.
And what is that, please?
In this case, where there's a single charge for the establishment operating outside of its approved hours, the parties have agreed that the case can be resolved with a written warning by the board.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Large, it's my understanding that there's an offer in compromise, and the offer in compromise for the single charge is that a warning will be issued. Is this your understanding, sir, of the offer in compromise?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Is it further are you also aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to a hearing?
Yes, I understand that.
Are you also aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to appeal this matter?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions by any board members? Hearing that, I make a motion that the offer in compromise of a warning be accepted. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short?
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato?
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett?
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson?
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis?
Ed Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 6-0. I would like to thank both parties for coming to an agreement in this matter. If there are no further questions, have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. The next case in our calendar is case number 20 CMP 00074, the Cloakroom, license number 87875. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee in this case, please?
Mr. Woodson, your rights have been elevated. The other licensee is not on the line.
Okay, thanks.
That's all, Mr. Chair.
All right, Mr. Woodson, if you have a camera, please activate your camera and also please unmute your microphone, please. All right.
Good morning.
All right, Thank you. Mr. Adams, can you please state your name for the record, please?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Walter Adams, and I'm representing the District of Columbia.
Good morning, Mr. Adams. Mr. Woodson, can you please state your name for the record and also spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Roderick Woodson, RODERIC WOODSON. I'm counsel with Parker, Poe, Adams, Bernstein here in the district, and we are counsel to 476K LLC.
Otherwise known as the cloakroom. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Woodson. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
There is, Mr. Chairman. The parties have discussed settlement of this case and reached a settlement and are in a position to propose an offer and compromise to the board.
And what is the offer and compromise, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in this case, for the single charge of the establishment operating outside of its approved hours, the parties have agreed that the case could be resolved for a warning.
Now, let me ask you a question, Mr. Adams. I thought it says that operating after hours permitted employees to engage in sexual acts at the establishment. So is it just one charge or is there more than one charge? Or can you please explain it?
To my knowledge, that there is only the single charge of the establishment operating outside of its approved hours. It may have been referred to the office for more than one charge. However, I believe that the only charge that we have that we actually noticed or placed in notice was the operating outside the approved hours.
So the only issue in this case is an operation after hours charge. That's the only. I'm just clarification from my mind. I'm just clarification. The notice. Do you have? I'm sorry. I don't have the notice in front of me. I just want to make sure. Do you have a copy of the show? Does either party have a copy of the show cause notice that was sent out to see? Just to let me know what charges were on there, because I'm looking at one document, like the calendar says something else, and so because I don't have the show cause notice in front of me, I just want to make sure that all the issues are covered.
With the board's indulgence, I may be able to pull up the notice and the case. It'll take me a couple of minutes in order to do so, but I don't presently have that notice in front of me.
Do you have a copy? Do you have a copy of the notice in front of you, Mr. Woodson?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do have it. It is. Unfortunately, I can't display it to you.
No, but I'm just saying, what's the charge on? So, how many charges are in the notice, please?
I just saw this notice today, and I see two charges. I didn't know there was. I thought that there was only one when I became involved in this, and that's the one that that the Office of the Attorney General has discussed with me, and indeed, I discussed that with them, with the Attorney General's office yesterday.
Hold on 1 minute. Mr. Adams, can you please put your microphone on mute while Mr. Short, please put your microphone on mute also too, because I'm getting a feedback. So, Mr. Adams, please put your microphone on mute, because while Mr. Woodson is speaking, I can't hear. There's a feedback, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. All right. So, as you were saying, Mr. Woodson.
All right. As I was saying, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I became involved with this matter yesterday, and I discussed this. Didn't have the show cause at the time. The show cause notice. I did discuss it with the Office of the Attorney General yesterday when we agreed on the written warning notice, written warning as an OIC. When I got the document today, I see that there are actually two charges, and I haven't had a discussion with the Office of the Attorney General on charge 2, which speaks about a sexual act, and so I can't speak to that now.
All right, I think the feedback I'm getting is it's from your connection, Mr. Woodson. Mr. Adams, It's, I believe, because the information that I have here, it says there are two charges. So the show cause order, and again, the board is not involved in it. And so I need to find out from the government whether or not the government decide to dismiss the other charge. I'm fine with that. If the government decided not to pursue the charge, then that's fine. But as far as the information I have here, there are two charges on the show cause notice that went out, and the OIC that's been offered only covers one charge. So I believe that at least the OIC that's been presented is not, it doesn't fully cover the documents. If it's a position of the government that they are dropping the charge, one of the charges, then that's up to the government. But I need to get an answer about the two charges that are on the charging document. So if the government's position is not to if the government hasn't negotiated a dismissal of one of the charges, then I cannot accept the board cannot accept an OIC that does not address another charge, whether or not it has been prosecuted or it has to be dismissed.
And I understand that, Mr. Chairman, if the board can, or Mr. Chairman, we'd like to just a momentary and ask for the board's indulgence, just to make sure that we're understanding the issues regarding that specific matter for that charge. And so, if you don't mind, just a momentary indulgence so that we can just sort this out very briefly.
That's fine. That's fine. We can wait for you, or if you want, yeah, we can wait. I mean, we're in no rush. All right.
All right. So just probably a minute or two, Mr. Chairman. So
That's fine, Mr. Adams. All right, we're off the record. We're just waiting for the government to come back. So that's why we're just in a holding pattern until the government comes back online. And I apologize for the inconvenience. This is one of the first times that in doing these hearings that that we have a pause. So just want to let the public know that there's just a pause until the government comes back to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is Walter Adams. I'm
Hold on, Mr. We're back in the record. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the course of the board's indulgence. The district is finding that there's been a miscommunication regarding the charges in terms of our what's been presented for the OIC and also what's been presented to Mr. Woodson. What we'd like to do is to ask the board for an opportunity for the parties to discuss for a future hearing regarding this matter. Hopefully the parties will be able to resolve this without a further hearing. However, we believe that we're going to have the parties will need to be able to discuss this case further before offering compromise. So we're not able to, obviously, because of this conflict with the charges, be able to offer a compromise as presented today. However, we would just like to ask the board for the ability to come back at a later date to have another opportunity to discuss this matter.
There are several options. I mean, if you want to, and I'm not sure if this is enough time, I could recall this case this afternoon since we have an afternoon calendar. Or, I mean, what I can do. I mean, we can schedule this matter for a show cause hearing because the show cause hearing is for a date to be determined. However, because there was an offer in compromise presented today and there was some miscommunication, I would represent that if it's scheduled for a show cause hearing and the parties are asking for some flexibility in when to schedule it, or if they want to come up with another offer when this matter is scheduled, then that's fine. Because since the board doesn't have a specific date to offer you right now for a show cause hearing. So what we'll do, we'll just say that there are no preliminary matters. We'll schedule this for a show cause hearing for a date to be determined. The parties can, if they desire, they can discuss this case. If the board accepts written offer and compromises, so that can be brought at any point. So it doesn't necessarily say for example, if you have an offer and compromise, the parties can write it up, sign off on it, and just present it to the board. Without the licensee being there. So you have different options. I mean, based on COVID, we have now found out that there are a lot of actions that can be taken remotely, and so we want to move forward with that. Okay.
Understood, Mr. Chairman. And again, thanks to the board. I think obviously it'd be best for us to continue to have this go to another date. In the interim, we will be in communications with Mr. Woodson regarding possible ways to resolve this prior to any show cause hearing.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adams. Thank you, Mr. Woodson. I apologize. And we're all doing this remotely, and things don't normally work as smoothly if we were in person. But so I appreciate the fact that the parties have understood. We're now on the same page. So this matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing for a date to be determined. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right.
Good day.
Good day, thank you. All right. The next case in our calendar is case number 20-251-00010, Amsterdam Lounge, license number 100340. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee, please?
Mr. Chair, the licensee is not on the line.
All right. Can we?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, they're a call-in.
Okay, all right, okay. I was just going to repeat for the person to identify themselves for the record, to try to make sure that someone is actually there, okay?
With the call-in for Amsterdam Lounge, please announce yourself. Your line has been unmuted.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Bakalu Bible.
Hold on 1 minute, please,
Sure.
sir. Hold on 1 minute, please. We now know that you're here. Okay, fine. Thank you. Hold on. All right, so can we have Mr. Adams please identify yourself for the record, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
All right, the licensee, can you please identify yourself for the record? Please spell your name and identify your relationship to the establishment.
Sure. My name is spelled Bekalu. Last name Bayabile. Bayabile. I'm the owner of the establishment.
Can you please pronounce your last name for me, please, sir?
Sure. The Bible.
I'm sorry, one more time.
The Bible.
Bigo?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm trying to make sure that I try to pronounce everyone's name properly. All right.
Yes.
Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
There is a preliminary matter, Mr. Chairman. The parties have discussed the settlement of the case and are able to propose an offer and compromise to the board.
All right, Mr. Adams, what is the offer and compromise?
In this case, there's a single charge for the establishment failing to follow a security plan. To resolve the case, the parties have agreed that the matter can be resolved with a warning issued by the board.
All right, Mr. Bigo, it's my understanding that an offer and compromise was accepted, and the offer and compromise is that a warning was issued. Is this your understanding, sir, of the offer and compromise?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Are you aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to a hearing?
Yes.
You're also aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to appeal this matter?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir. With that said, I make a motion that the offer in compromise of a warning be issued for the only charge in this case. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short, I second the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Ed Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter therefore passes 6-0-0. Thank you, Mr. Adams, and thank you, Mr. Braga, for coming to an agreement with this on this issue. And if there are no further actions, have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right, the next case on our calendar is case number 19 AUD 00120 La Alameda Dos, license number 15387. Ms. Andrews, are you able to, I'm not sure if the licensee is there, but can you please elevate the rights of the licensee if he or she's on the line, please?
Mr. Chair, it doesn't appear that the licensee is on the line, but I'll take a moment to check the call-in numbers.
Thank you.
The licensee is not on the line.
All right, thank you. All right. With that said, Mr. Adams, this matter is scheduled for a show cause hearing for a date to be determined, and the date to be determined will be in January. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 20CC 00007. Fuel Pizza and Wings, license number 88727. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee for Fuel Pizza and Wings, please?
Hello?
I'm sorry, it's, all right. Mr. Strauss, are you here for fuel piece?
I am.
Okay,
I
all right.
am. Good
Okay,
morning.
good morning, just okay, I just want to make sure. All right, fine. Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Good morning, Mr. Adams. Mr. Strauss, can you please identify yourself for the record and also spell your name for the record, please?
Absolutely. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Paul Strauss, S-T-R-A-U-S-S, and I'm appearing today on behalf of the licensee.
All right, thank you. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
There are no preliminary matters in this case.
All right, thank you. Then this matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined, and it should be, the date will be in January, and the agency will advise both attorneys of the date we'll have the show cause hearing. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Okay. All right. The next case in our calendar is case number 18 CMP 00201, Republic National Distributing Company, license number 76499. Is this your case, Mr. Strauss? All right.
No, it's not. I didn't know if you turned me off as well, so I was just being polite. But I'm happy to log off as well.
You can stay on, but we're supposed to disengage your microphone.
I understand. I had disengaged my microphone, and I'll disengage the video as well. Thank you, members of the board. Good to see everyone as it were.
Have a great day. All right, so Miss yes, Mr. Adams.
I was saying that I believe it's Miss Harrell as the counsel for Republic National.
Miss Harar, you're on. Can you? All right, engage your camera. All right. Okay. All right, fine. Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Ms. Harar, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Risa Hirao, Hirao. I'm representing the licensee.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chairman. The parties have discussed the settlement of this case and are in a position to make a proposal, offer, and compromise to the board.
And what is the offer and compromise, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there is a single charge in this case for alleging establishment's failure to properly transport alcoholic beverages in a vehicle, which is a secondary tier offense. For that case, the parties have agreed to a fine in the amount of $250 to be paid in 90 days, and the establishment fails to make that payment within that period, the license shall be suspended indefinitely until the fine is paid.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Harar, it's my understanding that there's an offer and compromise, and the offer and compromise is that there is a fine of $250 paid within 90 days. If the fine is not paid within 90 days, the license will be suspended until the fine has been paid. Is this your client's understanding of the offer? You and your client's understanding of the offer in compromise?
Yes.
Is your client aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that they're given the right to a hearing?
Yes.
Is your client also aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that they're given the right to appeal this matter?
Yes.
All right, with that said, I make a motion that the offer in compromise of a fine of $250 payable in 90 days be accepted. If the fine is not payable within 90 days, the license will be suspended indefinitely until the fine has been paid. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short?
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato?
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett?
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson?
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis?
Ed Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 6-0. I would like to thank both parties for coming to an agreement in this matter. And if there are no further questions, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 20 CMP 00050 Kiss Tavern, license number 104710. And Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee for Kiss Tavern, please?
Mr. Chair, the licensee is not on the line.
All right. All right, it's Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Walter Adams, in the District of Columbia.
All right. The licensee is not here. However, it's my understanding that the licensee was served on December 2nd, 2020. All right. This matter then it will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined. The agency will advise both the licensee and the government on this matter, for the date on this matter. We have now come to the conclusion of our morning agenda, and so I will dismiss you, Mr. Adams, from
Thank you.
from the morning agenda, and I think we'll see you if you're the attorney on record. I'm sorry, hold on a minute, please. Someone, before, I just saw something in the chat for, Ms. Andrews, can you check the chat, please? Someone said.
Mr. LaPon, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Your case will be called at this afternoon's hearing. It's not for the morning's session. This is for establishment Songbird.
Okay, yes.
It's scheduled for 1:30. Our afternoon agenda. All right. Let me ask you, all right, hold on, Mr. Adams, are you prepared to do Songbird, which was scheduled, which is on the afternoon's agenda?
I am prepared, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we're gonna move out of order, and I'm gonna call case number 20 CMP 00029 Songbird, license number 96137. And Miss is okay. So Miss,
I elevated his rights, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Sir, can you please? All right, Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Mr. LaPen, I'm sorry. Can you please state and spell your name for the record, and please identify your relationship to the establishment, please?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Joe Lappin, full name Joseph Lappin, Joelapan. I am co-owner of Songbird Music House.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lappin, I mean, because you're online this morning and your hearing was scheduled for 1:30 this afternoon, but the board is flexible. So since you're here.
I didn't mean to cause any confusion. I got the whole registration and summons for 10:30. So I was surprised that it was moving on. So I don't know. Whatever you want to do is fine with me.
No, you're here. It said on my calendar, it stated that you were scheduled to be on at 1:30. But because you're here and the government is available, so you're fine. We're doing your case. We try to be flexible, and so because you're here,
I appreciate you. Sorry for any confusion.
You're fine. Okay. All right. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there is a preliminary matter. The parties have discussed the development of the case and are able to propose an offer and compromise to the board.
All right, and what is the offer and compromise, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, in this case, there's a single charge for the establishment alleging that the establishment operated outside of its approved hours. And to resolve this, the parties have agreed that the matter can be resolved with a warning to be issued by the board.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adams. Okay, so Mr. Lappin, it's my understanding that there's an offer and compromise, and the offer and compromise is that our written warning will be issued. Is this your understanding of the offer and compromise, sir?
Yes, it is.
Are you aware that by accepting an offer and compromise that you're giving up your right to a hearing?
Yes, I am.
Are you also aware that by accepting an offer and compromise that you're giving up your right to appeal this matter?
Yes.
All right, with that said, I make a motion that the offer and compromise of a warning be accepted. Is there a second?
Yes, Ed Grandis will second.
Mr. Grandis says second. The motion will now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Ed Grandis agrees.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 6-0. I want to thank both parties, both the government and the licensee, for coming to a mutually acceptable agreement for this case. And if there's no further action, I would thank you for your presentation today. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
And
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your flexibility.
You're very welcome. All right, so unless there is someone else out there who thinks that their case should have been called this morning, the board has concluded its morning calendar. Let me give 1 minute to see if anyone is going to identify themselves to say that my case has not been called. All right. Okay. Hearing none, the board then is going to move on to its legal agenda.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Okay. All right. On our legal agenda, the first matter on our legal agenda is a review of a settlement agreement between AMC 6D and the Hilton Washington, D.C. National Mall Hotel, license number 117214. I make a motion that we approve this settlement agreement. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion and properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Ed Grandis agrees.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. The next matter on our legal agenda, it's a review of the delivery of medical cannabis notice of third emergency rulemaking. I make a motion that we approve this emergency rulemaking. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis will second.
Mr. Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Ed Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. We now move to our licensing agenda. The first matter on our licensing agenda is a review request to extend safekeeping of license. This is for Super Liquors, license number 079241. I make a motion that we grant this request through March 31st, 2021. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Seconds.
Both Mr. Cato and Ms. Crockett have seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. The next establishment on our licensing agenda, it's a review application for Sidewalk Cafe endorsement with 22 seats. This is for Wazi, license number 109570. I make a motion that we placard this matter. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. The next matter is a review application for Summer Garden endorsement with 52 seats. This is from the Metropolitan Club of the City of Washington, license number 000086. I make a motion that we approve this matter. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. The next matter on our legal agenda is the review application for sports wagering substantial change to include up to 14 self-service betting terminals. This request has been made by Heath, license number 105012. I make a motion that we approve this request. No, I'm sorry, I make a motion that we placard this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. The next matter on our legal licensing agenda, it's a review request to allow Amhart Educational Service LLC, which has common ownership for the reference license, to serve as paymaster for the alcoholic beverage wholesaler invoice received by the licensee. This is GU Catering, license number 116924. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis,
Mr. Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis agrees.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. The next matter on this agenda is a review request for refund of annual dues paid before lease negotiations unexpectedly failed. This is from Draft House Comedy, license number 100884. I make a motion that we approve this request minus the administrative fee pursuant to 23 DCMR 504.1. The fees can be refunded with the exception of the administrative fee. So therefore, I make a motion that that be done. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis,
Mr. Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. We now move to our supplemental licensing agenda. The first matter on our supplemental license agenda is a review application for stipulated license with letter of agency support for TBD Wines LLC, license number 117244. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis.
Mr. Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 6-0. The next matter on our supplemental license agenda, it's a review request to remove license from safekeeping to reopen on or around January 4th, 2021. This is for Hotel Madeira, license number 115191. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis.
Mr. Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. We now move to our vacated cancellation orders agenda. The ABC board is vacating the following order canceling license previously issued on November 18th, 2020. Barracuda Wine Bar, license number 115719. The license was canceled in error. All payments are current. I make a motion that we vacate this order. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote that has been properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 6-0. We now move to our reinstatement of canceled license agenda. The first licensee on this agenda is a review request for reinstatement of canceled license contingent upon immediate renewal of license and payment of overdue fees. This is for Officina, license number 107663. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. The next request is a review request for reinstatement of canceled license contingent upon immediate payment of overdue annual fees. This is for Officina Cafe, license number 112472. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Crockett seconds.
Ms. Crockett has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. The next request is a review request for reinstatement of canceled license contingent upon immediate payment of overdue annual fees. This is for Columbus Club, license number 107244. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I
Crockett
second.
seconds.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. We now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 6-0. The next request on our agenda, on this agenda, it's a review request for reinstatement of canceled license contingent upon immediate payment of overdue fees. This is from Dodge City, license number 078749. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Ed Grandis, will second.
Mr. Grandis has seconded the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Mr. Grandis. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato, Mr. Cato,
Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 6-0. We now move to our cancellation agenda. The ABC board will be canceling the following licenses for the reasons outlined below. Pit Angle, Galeto, and Cafe, license number 105197. The licensee requested cancellation. I make a motion that we approve this request. Is there a second?
Bobby Cato, seconds.
Mr. Cato, I second the motion. We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Cato. Mr. Short,
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato,
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett,
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Hanson,
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis,
Ed Grandis, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 7-0. All right, we are now at the end of our morning calendar, and the board will now move in recess. So we'll close our morning agenda, and we will reconvene at 1:30 this afternoon. The board now will move into executive session. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for one other board member to join. As soon as the other board member logs on, then we will be officially on the record. Again, I just want to let the general public know that one of our members is having some technical difficulties. So as soon as his technical difficulties are taken care of, then we will start.
Hello, Mr. Chair.
All right, okay. You can activate your camera. All right. Good afternoon. We're back on the record. We're back on the record, and I just want to give some instructions for folks who were not here with us this morning, and so because this is being done remotely, just wanted to know. My name is Donovan Anderson. I'm chairman of the board. There are 6 members who are here working with us today. It's Ms. Jenny Hansen, Mr. Bobby Cato, Mr. Ed Grandis, Ms. Rafi Crockett, and Mr. James Short. So we do have a quorum to conduct business. Before we get underway with this afternoon's calendar, I need to make a few instructions very clear so that the conduct of these hearings is understood by everyone. There are 13 cases scheduled for this afternoon. Once your case is called, I will take a moment for our IT specialist to elevate the rights for each party to enable their camera and microphone. Then and only then will you have the ability to enable your equipment. If your case has not been heard, you will remain mute and your camera will be disabled. At the conclusion of each case, the parties will have the option to leave. If the party chooses to stay, all cameras and microphones for that concluded case will be disabled. Should you have any questions or require technical assistance during the hearing, please submit them during the question and answer feature or email simone.andrews2@dc.gov. All right, for our afternoon session, our first case is case number 19 AUD 00118, Guapo's Restaurant, license number 16332. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the government along with the licensee, please?
Sure, stand by.
Thank you.
Mr. Adams and Mr. Markowitz, your rights have been elevated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Adams, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm Walter Adams, and I'm representing the District of Columbia.
Mr. Markowitz, can you please state and spell your name for the record, and please state and spell your name for the record, and identify yourself and your relationship with the establishment, sir.
My name is Barry Markowitz, BARRYMARKOWITZ. I'm the CPA for the restaurant for Guapo's Inc.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
For this matter, Mr. Chairman, there are no preliminary matters.
All right, thank you. All right, then this matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined in January. So we will, Mr. Markowitz, we will provide yourself and Mr. Adams a date for the show cause hearing in January. Thank you very much for your participation today, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, then, bye-bye. All right. Okay, the next case in our calendar is case number 19 CMP 00218 Hawthorne, license number 99603. I do not believe, although the licensee was served on the 2nd of December, I do not believe the licensee will participate today, but can we just check? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. Chair, he's on the line.
Okay, fine. All right, I apologize. All right, so let's start with the government. Can the government please identify themselves for the record, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Walter Adams, representing the district.
Mr. Brogan, can you identify, you don't have a camera, so I'm not sure, but can you identify yourself for the record by also spell your name, please, sir?
Sure. Francis Brogan for the licensee, FRANCIS Brogan, BROGAN.
Okay, thank you. All right, so there are several cases, but we're going to do the cases. The case that we're doing right now is 19 CMP 00218. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
No, Mr. Chairman, there are no preliminary matters.
Okay, so then this matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined in January. And so therefore we will inform both parties of the date in January when we should have the show cause hearing. All right, thank you. All right, the next case in our calendar is case number 19 CMP 00223, the Hawthorne license number 99603. Would the parties please identify themselves for the record, starting with the government, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Walter Adams for the District.
Mr. Adams, Mr. Brogan, please identify yourself for the record, please.
Sure. Francis Brogan on behalf of the licensee.
Thank you. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
There are no preliminary matters, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Then this matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing for a date to be determined in January. Thank you. All right, the next case in our calendar is case number 19 CMP 00041, the Hawthorne license number 99603. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record, please, starting with the government?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Walter Adams for the district.
Mr. Adams, Mr. Brogan.
Francis Brogan for the licensee, Hawthorne.
Mr. Brogan. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
No, Mr. Chairman, there are no preliminary matters in this case.
Great, thank you very much. Then this matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing for a date to be determined in January. I want to thank both parties for their presentation. I'm sorry for their participation here today, and have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. All right. The next case in our calendar is case number 20 CMP 00017, Sharita Madrid Restaurant, license number 60806. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the parties in this case, please?
Mr. Chair, this party was online. I don't see him anymore. Is there any way you can come back to this case? Because I don't want to.
All right, fine. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. All right. So the next case, the next case in our calendar was case number 20 CMP 00029, Songbird, license number 96137. We dealt with this case during the morning calendar because the licensee was on in the morning. So this case was already disposed during the morning. The next case on our calendar is case number 19 CMP 00185, 1812 Lounge, formerly SIP, license number 95164. Can you please elevate the rights if you're able to? The parties for this case, there should be an interpreter and along with the licensee.
Ms. Afolabi and Mr. Legidi, you guys, your rights have been elevated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Afolabi, can you engage your camera and also unmute your microphone, please? Do you have a camera?
Yes, I do, Mr. Chair. I don't know why it's not showing.
And let's wait a minute because it's very important in this particular case for me to see you.
I'm working on it
Okay.
right now as we speak.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. What language are you interpreting? What language are you interpreting, ma'am?
Yoruba language.
Yoruba?
Yes,
Okay, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate these proceedings from English into Yoruba and from Yoruba into English?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Ẹ káàsán gbogbo yín.
I would like the parties to introduce themselves for the record, starting with the government.
A máa fẹ́ kí olúkálukú kí ọ júwe ara wọn, a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìjọba.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. I'm Walter Adams. I represent the District of Columbia.
Ẹ káàsán, orúkọ mi Walter Adams, èmi ni mò ń dúró fún ìjọba lo District of Columbia.
I would like Mr. Ejide to introduce himself for the record and also spell his name for the record and his relationship to the establishment.
Arákùnrin Èjìtì, ẹ̀yin ló kàn sí tí ẹ máa sọ orúkọ yín, ẹ wá spẹ́ẹ̀lì ẹ̀ nítorí a máa gbà sílẹ̀, a máa kọ sílẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe sọ, ẹ wá tún wá sọ bí ẹ ṣe jẹ́ pẹ̀lú iléeṣẹ́ tí à ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí.
Temitope Ijiri. Temitope Ijiti. Owner.
Thank you, sir.
Ẹ ṣé, sir.
Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
Arákùnrin Adams, ǹjẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ àsọsíwájú kankan wà lórí ẹjọ́ yìí?
Mr. Chairman, there are no preliminary matters in this case.
Olórí, kò sí ọ̀rọ̀ àsọsíwájú kankan lórí ẹjọ́ tí ó wà nílẹ̀ yìí.
All right, thank you. This matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined in January.
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀. Tó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, a máa ti ẹjọ́ yìí sí iwájú tí a máa gbọ́ tónítóní ní oṣù kìíní ọdún tó ń bọ̀. A máa yanjọ́ yẹn.
The agency will inform both the licensee and the government for the hearing date in January. Thank you very much.
Ilé-iṣẹ́ wa máa ké sí ẹni tí ó ní àṣẹ yẹn àti àwọn ìjọba nípa ti ọjọ́ tí a bá yàn ní oṣù tó ń bọ̀. Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your presentation today. Have a great day.
A dúpẹ́ fún wíwá yín sí ọ̀dọ̀ wa lénìí. Ó dàbọ̀.
Ó dàbọ̀.
Goodbye.
All right. Thank you.
All
right.
Thank you.
All right. The next case in our calendar is case number 20 AUD 00012, the Alibi, license number 97969. And Ms. Andrews, can you please disengage the parties for the last case and please elevate the rights for the parties for the Alibi?
Ms. Traverso, your rights have been elevated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Andrews, I'm sorry. Were you able to find the licensee for the previous establishment?
He didn't log back on.
Okay, all right. Just alert me if you're able to locate him. Okay.
I sure will.
Thank you. All right. All right, Ms. Traverso, do you have a camera? All right, if you don't.
I do not, no.
Okay, that's fine. All right, let's start with let's have the parties introduce themselves for the record. And let's start with the government, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
Good afternoon, Mr. Adams. Mr. Versa, can you please state your name for the record? Please spell your name and please identify your relationship with the establishment, please.
My name is Rachel Traverso. It's Rachel, and Traverso is TRA, V as in Victor, ERSO, and I'm the owner of the licensed establishment.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
There is preliminary matter, Mr. Chairman. The parties have discussed the settlement of this case and would like to propose an offer in compromise.
And what is the offer in compromise, please?
Mr. Chairman, the offer in compromise for this case, which has a single charge, which alleges that the establishment failed to keep and maintain its books and records for a period of 3 years. The parties have agreed to resolve this matter with a warning.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Versa, it's my understanding that there is an offer in compromise, and the offer in compromise is that for the charge failure to maintain on-premises books and records on premises for 3 years, that there will be a warning. Is this your understanding of the offer in compromise?
Yes.
Are you aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to a hearing?
Yes.
Are you also aware that by accepting an offer in compromise that you're giving up your right to appeal this matter?
Yes.
With that said, I make a motion that that the offer in compromise in this matter of a written warning be accepted. Is there a second?
Ms. Crockett
Davis.
seconds.
I'm sorry, hold on, please, hold on. Okay, so Ms. Crockett is second. The motion will now have a roll call vote on the motion that's been properly seconded by Ms. Crockett. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Ms. Henson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Ed Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 6-0. I want to thank the parties for agreeing to an offer in compromise, and this matter is taken care of. So thank you very much. All right, and have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I just again want to remind all board members to please mute their telephone. Please mute their line. Your line should only be unmuted when you're speaking, please. So please mute your lines. All right, your microphones. Okay, the next case in our calendar is case number 19 CMP 00219, Felicity case, license number 112502. This hearing is canceled. The parties entered into an OIC on October 7th, 2020. See board order number 2020-323. The next case in our calendar is case number 20-251-00013, the Gold Room Bar Lounge, license number 114757. Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the licensee?
Mr. Bianco and Ms. Goins, your rights have been elevated. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so let the Ms. Goins, if you have a camera, please turn your camera on. If you don't have a camera, then that's fine. I was just asking. All right, so we'll start with let the parties introduce themselves and also have them spell their name. We'll start with Mr. Adams.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
All right, Mr. Adams, Mr. Bianco.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Richard Bianco, last name spelled Bianco, on behalf of the licensee. And also appearing is Renee Goins, the owner of the licensee entity.
So can I have Ms. Goins please introduce herself for the record and please spell her name, please?
Renee Goins, RENEEGOINS, owner of Gold Run Bar.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
No, Mr. Chairman, the parties do not have an offer of compromise to present at this time.
All right, thank you. This matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined. It's more so that this matter will be scheduled for the show cause hearing in January, and we will advise, the agency will advise the parties of the date for the hearing. All right, our next case is case number 20 CMP 00014, the Gold Room Bar Lounge, license number 114757. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record, starting with the government, please?
Yes, Walter Adams for the district.
Mr. Bianco?
Richard Bianco for the licensee.
Can we have Ms. Goins, can you please introduce yourself for the record, please?
Renee Goins, owner of the Gold Run Bar and Lounge.
All right, thank you. Mr. Adams, are there any preliminary matters in this case?
No, Mr. Chairman, the parties are not ready to present an offer and compromise at this time.
All right, thank you very much. This matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing for a date to be determined, and I believe that we will have a hearing sometime in January. All right, thank you very much for that. All right, the next case in our calendar is case number 20 CMP 00026, the Gold Room Bar Lounge, license number 114757. Would the parties please introduce themselves for the record, please?
Walter Adams for the District of Columbia.
Richard Bianco for the licensee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bianco. Ms. Goins, can you please introduce yourself for the record, please?
Renee Goins, owner, Gold Run Bar and Lounge.
Thank you. Are there any preliminary matters in this case?
No, Mr. Chairman, the parties are not positioned to present offer and compromise at this time.
All right. Thank you very much. This matter will be scheduled for a hearing, as show cause hearing, at a date to be determined in January. Thank you very much. The agency will inform the parties of the date and time of the show cause hearing. Have a great day, and thank you for your participation today. Thanks. Bye-bye. All right. All right. The next case in our calendar is case number 19 CC 00129, Law Society, license number 83420. And can Ms. Andrews, can you please elevate the rights of the owners for Law Society, please?
The licensee is not on the call.
Okay. Hold on. All right. It's minus Mr. Adams. Can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Walter Adams, representing the District of Columbia.
All right, Mr. Adams, thank you. It's the licensee is not here today. However, the licensee, my records show that the licensee was served on November 30th, 2020. So with that said, this matter will be scheduled for a show cause hearing for a date to be determined in January. Thank you very much for being here in that case, Mr. Adams. All right, so the next case in our calendar is case number 20 CC 00023, Lost Society, license number 83420. And it appears that the licensee for Lost Society is not on the line. So I would have Mr. Adams, can you please introduce yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Walter Adams for the district.
And since the licensee is not here, it's my understanding that the licensee was served on on November 30th, 2020. This matter is then scheduled for a show cause hearing for a date to be determined in January. I'm going to recall this case. It was my understanding that the licensee was online, and I don't know what happened. But it's for case number 20 CMP 00017, Sharita Madrid Restaurant, license number 60806. Has the, Mr. Adams is here. Is the licensee for this establishment available? If you're available, please identify yourself, please.
He has not rejoined.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. All right. It appears that the licensee might have some technical difficulties because it's my understanding in speaking to at least the information that was provided to me by our IT department was that the owner was online at some point today. And I do not know what happened, but I just want the record to reflect that he was online, the owner was online, and for whatever reason, he got off the line and he has no longer rejoined. With that said, this matter then will be scheduled for a show cause hearing at a date to be determined in January. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adams, and this concludes our formal agenda for the day. Thank you very much, Mr. Adams, for your appearance today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And have a good holiday, Mr. Chairman. Members.
Thank you very much. All right, you too. Thanks. All right. We're now at the end of our calendar, and the board is at the end of all its business. And if there's no other issue, no other business, I will formally close our public hearing. As chairperson of the Alcohol Beverage Control Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with Title III, Chapter 405, Office of Open Government, I move that the ABC Board hold a closed meeting on December 10th, 2020 for the purpose of discussing and hearing reports concerning ongoing or planned investigations of alleged criminal or civil misconduct or violations of law or regulations, and seeking legal advice from our legal counsel on the board's investigative agenda, legal agenda, and licensing agenda. December 10th, 2020, as published in the DC Registry on December 4th, 2020. Is there a second?
Mr. Short, I second.
Mr. Short has seconded the motion. I will now take a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded by Mr. Short. Mr. Short.
Mr. Short, I agree.
Mr. Cato.
Bobby Cato, I agree.
Ms. Crockett.
Rafi Crockett, I agree.
Hanson.
Jenny Hansen, I agree.
Mr. Grandis.
Ed Grandis, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. As it appears that the motion has passed 6-0, I hereby give notice that the ABC Board will hold this aforementioned closed meeting. Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, notice will also be posted on the ABC Board hearing room bulletin board, placed on electronic calendar on ABRA's website, and published in the DC Register in as timely a manner as practical. The board, our public session, we're now adjourned for the day. I would like to thank the public for its participation today, and I'd like to thank the board members for its participation today. Now that we have officially closed our public session, the board will now return to executive session. Thank you. All right then, bye-bye.